Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Pastor John's house. Today, I'm going to be reading the third Bible story in our series of Bible stories. Now, you may remember our first story was about how God created everything. And our second story was about two of those things that God created, two very special things, a man and a woman. And that God had named the man Adam and the woman Eve. It also told how all of the animals got their names, as the man was given that responsibility. And he came up with some interesting names. You may remember, like toucan and chickadee and giraffe. Well, everything was going along beautifully in the world, in this beautiful garden that God created for the man and the woman. That is, until they do something that disappoints God and makes God sad. And that's where we start today's story, the first sin. One of the animals that God created was very tricky. The serpent. The serpent was clever and sly and up to no good. Did God really say you can't eat the fruit from the trees in the garden? The serpent hissed softly to Eve. No, said Eve. God said we can eat fruit from any of the trees in the garden, except for the tree in the middle of the garden. God said not to eat from that one, not to even touch it. The serpent smiled a sneaky little smile. Ha! God doesn't want you to eat fruit from that tree, because if you do, you'll know everything. And then you'll be just like God. The serpent hissed in his sly way. Eve then looked at the tree in the middle of the garden. The fruit sure looked good. So she ate some. And she gave some to Adam, too. As soon as they ate the fruit, everything changed. Adam and Eve became very embarrassed and shy. They sewed some leaves together, making some pretend clothes to try to cover up their bodies. They stood nervously behind some bushes. Then they heard God walking around in the garden. God called out to them, "Yoo-hoo! Where are you?" Adam and Eve hid. "Hey, where did you go?" said God. Adam peeked out from behind some vines. He said, "I heard you and was afraid." "Why were you afraid?" asked God. "Well, I'm naked for one thing," said Adam, who was quite embarrassed. "So I hid." "I see," God replied. Who told you that you were naked? Adam said nothing. Did you eat from the fruit I told you not to eat from? Asked God. Eve gave it to me, Adam blurted out. The serpent made me, exclaimed Eve. He tricked me. God sighed. I told you not to eat from that tree. Because you have done what I told you not to, life will be difficult for you now. You will have to leave this beautiful garden and work very hard to get the things you need. Now you will know what it is to be unhappy. And someday you will die. I made you from dust. When you die, you will become dust again. God then made some real clothes for Adam and Eve and sent them out into the big world. And even though they did something to disappoint God and that hurt God, God was with them everywhere they went. What kind of hard work do you think Adam and Eve will have to do out in the world? Let me know what you think of the story and some of those hard things you think Adam and Eve will have to do out in the world. And you can do that by sending your answers to the church at stmatthews@whiteman.ca. Thanks for joining me again today. I'm really glad that I can read these stories to you, and I look forward to bringing you our next story. Take care and have a blessed day. I miss you guys. Bye now.